Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel Imaginary Engineering. This is Kirti. In our last video, we have seen how does Spring Security work, authenticate the user from the user database. We have seen the CORS, CSRF filter, form-based authentication. Then we have seen the basic authentication. We have already done this in our previous video. If you haven't watched that, so I will recommend you first watch that video and then come to this. This basic authentication has many flaws. As you can see, this does not contain the authorization information, does not have the expiry date, and most important is it is easily decoded. So we have the JWT token. We will see JWT in this video. This is the security control flow. We have already seen this in last video. This video we will see the JWT security with Spring Boot Auth 2 resource server, and these are the steps. Before I explain this, I will show you the JWT token. This is the jwt.io website. You can go here and you can see this is the JWT encoded value. It has a three part. If you see, it has a three part. First one is a header which has the algorithm and type. This is the algorithm you can choose. Here algorithm is ES256, type is a JWT. Then second is payload. In payload we have the subject, name, IIT, the time when was the token issue, then expiry date, then all the custom attribute also we can add in a payload. Then verify signature. This is the verify signature. It's a encoded value for the header and payload. We combine the encoded value of header and encoded value of payload with and add the secret and generate the hash. If anyone try to change the payload, then this token will be changed. So here first part is header, second part is payload, and third part is encoded value of header and payload, and this is separated by the dot. Here you can see. Now we are generate the token JWT token using the Spring Boot Auth 2 resource server. These are the steps. First we create the key pair using the key pair generator. You might be know this key pair generator. Then second, create a RSA key object using the key pair. We are using the Nimbus library. Third one, JWK source we will create, and then fourth we will use the JWK source for the encoding, and then use the RSA public key for the decoding using the Nimbus JWT decoder. If you are the first time implementing this, you might feel this is the difficult, but trust me, this is not that much difficult. Once you get to know what is actually going on, then you feel comfortable, and once you practice, then it's super easy. So let's start. I will go to the VS Code. First we will add the dependency that we are using. So here I will copy this dependency and paste it. Here let me change the artifact ID auth 2 resource server and reload this pom.xml. It will add all the files. Now then I will go to this our web security config. I will request you guys, if you haven't watched the previous video, please watch it because this is the continuous series. So now here this security filter chain, we will add our filter auth 2 resource server. I am using the lambda expression here. This auth 2 has the method JWT. We will use that and pass the customizer with default. Now next we will start with the steps that we have seen earlier. First step is create a key pair. So let's define the function to create a key pair. It return the key pair object, and let's call this function key pair. I will add a notation bin. We are using the key pair generator to generate the key. Here we need to pass the algorithm that we are using. I am using the RSA. Where is the keyword? that automatically identify the type of variable. Key pair generator will store that value in variable key pair generator. I will put this in a try and catch since it's throwing the exception. So I will put this sentence in try and catch block. Now we can initialize the key size. So it has the method initialize. We can give our key size. I will give the 2048 and I will return this key pair generator. It has the method to generate key pair. Generate key pair. It will return the key pair object. Now first step is done. In second step, we will create a RSA key object. Take a closer look. This comes from the com.nimbus.ds.jos.jwk library. Let's call it RSA key function. Then I will add a annotation bin. So we will return the bin. I am calling this key pair method that we have created, this key pair, which will return the key pair object. So this method will return key pair object and we need this key pair object. Then we will return this RSA key object. This function will return. Inside the builder we pass the key pair dot get public key. Then we have the private key. Key pair has a method to get a private key. Let me typecast this. This is the RSA public key and this one is the RSA private key. RSA private key to get a private and public key. Now ID, generate the random ID, UUID, random UID, convert into the string, then call the build. So we will create the object of this RSA key and return that object. In third step, here we will create a JWK source, create a JWK set with the RSA key. Then we will use that JWK source for encoding and RSA public key for decoding. We will use the Nimbus library for JWT encoder and decoder. First I will create a method which will return the JWK source. Pass the security context type. Let's call this method JWK source. For that we need JWK set object and this JWK set it accepts the RSA key. So let's call our method RSA key which return the RSA key object. So this is our JWK set object. Now we need to return the JWK source. If you see, this JWK source is an interface here, if I show you, which has the one method get, which we will return here JWK source object. This is the interface here, you can see. And if I jump to the source code here, which has the one method get. Now let's go back and implement this get method. Here we will return the JWK selector which has a one method select and pass the JWK set. So this is our JWK source object that we are returning. We can write this in more better way. We can use the lambda expression. So these are the two things we are passing, JWK selector and context. In this get method we are passing these two things and returning statement is JWK selector dot select. So I am copying this here and paste it here. Let me put this in a parenthesis. Now this is the return statement. I am removing this and return this line. You see how we reduce the code of line. Here basically we implement the get method and return the JWK source object. Now next we will use this JWK source object for the encoder. So this is the JWT encoder. Let me add a bin annotation. I will show you this Nimbus JWT encoder class. Yeah, this is the Nimbus JWT encoder class. Here if you see, this class has implement the interface JWT encoder. It will take this JWK source as a parameter and set the value for the JWK source. So let's go back here. First we will pass this JWK source, security context. We'll pass this as a parameter and then we will return. We have the method, we will using the Nimbus library. So we call the object Nimbus JWT encoder, which will take the JWK source as a parameter. Now next we will use the RSA public key for the decoder. So JWT decoder, we write a function for the JWT decoder. We have the class for that. Let's search for the class Nimbus JWT decoder. Here we can see this is the class which implements JWT decoder interface, this class. Let's search for the method with public default. That method we are going to use. Let me search that method. Method name is with default public key. Yeah, this is method with public key. This method we are going to use, which take the RSA public key as parameter. Here you can see this method we are going to use for the decoding. Then next I will return the Nimbus JWT decoder, which has the method with public key. We are using the public key to decode, which receive the RSA public key as a parameter, and then we will build. So we are done with the JWT decoder. So let me recap quickly what we have done so far. You don't need to remember all this code, it is not necessary. You just follow the steps. First we create a key pair, then RSA key object, then we'll create a JWK source and use that JWK source to encode the value, and then we use the RSA public key for the decoder. Now next I will go to the auth controller. I want to show you the authentication object, what the authentication object return. So I will add a endpoint authenticate. So this method will return the authentication object. Let's go to the Postman. This is the simple method which return the authentication object. Let me run this application. Now it's running. So let's go to the Postman. Login. Here we get the response 200. Authenticate. Click on send. Here we get the response. In authorization, here I have set the header, username and password. That's why it returned the authentication object. So here we get all the principal details, credentials, password, username, authorities. That authorities is a list of string. It's basically the user roles, list of user roles. All this information we get through that object, authentication object. So inside the security folder, I will create a new file, JWT token service. this class basically used here we generate the token in this class. So instead of typing, what I will do to save some time, I will copy and paste the code here. Don't worry, I will explain all the things. Let me make it a small letter, event manager management. Now all the error has gone. So this is the class JWT token service, which has the one method generate token. It will generate the token and return the token. It receives the authentication object that we have just seen what that authentication object contain here. Principal details basically its content. And now first let me change this variable name. This authentication has the method get authorities. It will return the list of user roles. So let me make it variable name roles instead of scope. Change it here also. And now this authentication has the method get authorities. It will return the list of authorities and we convert into the list and store it in variable. If you see, this is the authorities. Currently it is a empty list. Then next we build a claim. So we need to pass the issuer, then expiry date we can pass, claim, subject is our authentication has the property name, so we get the name. If I show you this name property, here you can see last Kirti @1234 here. So we get this name, basically the email ID we get here. And then claim we pass the rules. And then we have the method JWT encoder, which has the method encode, and we pass our claim and generate the token. We can use the method get token value. It will return the token and we will return this token. So we will go back to our auth controller. Here inside this login request, this is the authentication manager, which has the method authenticate. It will take the username, password, authentication token. This filter basically validate the user. So this return the authentication object. So this return authentication object here inside this login method. First what I will do, I will create a JWT response class. So this is the simple class for the JWT response. Data for the getter setter method, all argument constructor we need, and which contain only one property, which is a token, JWT token. This class will be return JWT response. So here I will make the type JWT response. This will return the token. So now first we call the method that generate token, which is in class JWT token service class. We have just created this class which has the method to generate token. So let's call that method, and we need to pass this authentication object here as a parameter. Then this will return this token. This var keyword automatically detect the type of variable. Now we call the JWT response object and pass the token. So it will return the token as a string. This object basically converted into the JSON and we get this JSON token. Okay, if you are facing any difficulty to understand, I will recommend you to watch this video again. Here illegal start of type in line number 28 I missed the semicolon. Now rerun the application. application is running. Let's go to the login. First I will save this authenticate. Click on save. So next we will test our login API. Click on send. Here we get the response JWT token in the response. Then we will get test this get all event. First I will select the no auth and click on send. So here we got the error 401 unauthorized. So let me go back to the login and copy this token. Let me copy this new token and come back to this get all event. Select the bearer token and copy this token here. Click on send. Now here we get the response successfully. This is working fine. Let me go back to the login. If I enter the wrong password here and click on send, here we got the message 401 unauthorized. We provide the email and password. If I show you here, this username password authentication token filter, this will validate the password and user, and if it is not validated, it will return the 401 unauthorized. Now if I provide the correct password, then I will return the it will return the token. Now every time we need to copy paste this token, so instead of that, what we will do, we will create a environment variable and store our token there. So let's create the environment variable token, and this current value I will go back and copy that current value. This token I will copy. Let me close this and I will copy this token, JWT token, and come back to our environment variable here, and I will paste it here. So this is our current value of token. Initial value, we don't have any initial value. Click on save. Now go back to get method. This get all event. Instead of token, I will pass the environment variable token and click on send. Here we get the response successfully as before. It's working. So here whenever I click on send, it will generate the new token but not updating the environment variable. So what I want, whenever user login, it will update the environment variable also. For that we will write a script. So inside that script tab, you can see the post response option. Go to that. If you don't see, you are using the earlier version of Postman, you can see the test tab. Under that test tab, you can write this script. So basically test tab is equivalent to the post response, so you can write your script there. So we add a if condition. Here we check if the response is successful or not. PM is a Postman object which has the attribute response.code. We check status is 200. If it is successful response, then we will set the environment variable. pm.environment.set, variable name is here token, and then second parameter we will pass the value. Here pm.response.json convert into the JSON, and JWT token is our key name. Let me put it in the next line so you can see this clearly. Here then we have the JWT token key. Basically whenever I make a request, it will update the token environment variable also. Now let me test this get all event. Click on send. Here you get, see, we get the response successfully. This is all. I will just quickly recap all the things what we have done. First we have added the dependency. These are the basic steps. create key pair, then create a RSA object, create a JWK source, then use that JWK source for encoding, use the Nimbus JWT encoder, then use the RSA public key for the decoding, use the Nimbus JWT decoder. And these are the basic steps. Now we go to this web security config. Here this is the auth2 resource server filter we have added here, and this is the key pair we have generated, then RSA key object, JWK source, JWT encoder and decoder, and this is the JWT token service here, which has the method to generate token which return the token. Inside this login auth controller, we just call that generate token. Here we have created a separate class for the JWT response, which contain the only one method JWT token, and it will return the token. I hope all the things are clear to you. If you find it difficult, if you are doing this first time, there might be chance you feel it is difficult, but once you practice, trust me, it will be super easy. So and you don't need to remember all the codes. I will provide a link in description. You just know the basic steps, what are the steps that we have followed, that's fine. So I hope you enjoyed this lecture and learned something new. If you did, then don't forget to like, share and subscribe.